an aggressive solicit. Hi, Sasha here from Casually Comics, and once more we're doing something new, a solicitations video. We took a look at the dawn of DCU and some of the new stuff that's coming in the new year 2023, and some of you really enjoyed just catching up because you mentioned that you don't really keep up in that way. Neither do I all the time. I definitely don't always read the solicitations. Now, solicitations are traditionally sent out to shops so that they can pick what they're going to buy, so it's months in advance. They get to see all the covers, all that jazz. So the solicitations I have today are for February of 2023. Now, there is also a history of fans looking at them. Savvy fans knew that when stores became a thing, you could go in and ask for the Diamond catalog and look at them. Now that not everything is with Diamond anymore, that's not going to be quite as helpful. For a time when Wizard Magazine was a thing, they were published in Wizard Magazine, so it was a bit of a kind of an insider fan thing that you had to really want to know to seek them out. Now they are published online and anybody can see them. Not that I think that everybody seeks them out anyway. They tend to be, obviously, full of spoilers because they're so far in advance. So just be warned that that could happen if you are reading any of these. I put this off, and so some would say that I'm late, but I don't know how that's possible to be late to things that are coming out in February of 2023 unless we do it after the next one. I wanted to try it. I was trying to decide where to start. I was like, oh, DC, I do a lot of DC stuff. Maybe I should start with Marvel. And then I saw how many solicits Marvel had put out. 96. So I was like, nah, you know what? Let's stick to the lesser one. This is gonna be less, but it's gonna be quite a bit. Now we're just gonna go through them and show you what's out there. I'm gonna go through every single one. No skipsies. So get ready to hear about everything.
Why the you lying?
Whether you want to or no, I mean, if you don't, then you can just click off at any time. But I thought it'd be cool to just check out what is coming out and see how you guys feel about it, and if you want it to be a thing or not. I wanted to try it. I've never done it before. Why not? The end of 2022. Let's try new things. I'm gonna be reading them off my phone, so once more it's gonna be a lot of me being covered with other things. You wanna hear how it starts? All of DC's full February 2023 solicitations and covers, including over 220 plus images. Because they show you variants and everything. It's a lot. This is a lot of a lot. If you were actually gonna sit down and go through this like we're about to, this is gonna eat some time. So I hope you're ready to spend some time together looking at the DC comics that are coming out in 2023 February. Allegedly, because you never know. Again, like something could happen. There could be a surprise cancellation. There could be a delay, but this is, at the time of this recording, this is what they say. So they say that February brings us the second month of Dawn of DC. So what we did last time was the new titles, but the Dawn has, you see, it's daunting, isn't it? They also tell us that February marks the second month of the DC Lazarus Planet event, DC Universe Lazarus Planet. We gotta put the whole awkward title in there, in which portions of DC Universe are remade and twisted in new ways through the power of Ra's al Ghul's life-giving Lazarus Pit, putting new spins on concepts and characters familiar to DC fans. Are you ready for new spins on new spins on new spins? Let's just get into it, or we will never be free. We have Superman #1. That's right, Superman's relaunching again, this time with Clark Kent back as the Man of Steel. And we have written by Joshua Williamson, art and cover by Jamal Campbell. And then we have a whole bunch of variants. So man, oh my gosh, that's a lot of variants. You have lots of choices. They really want you to buy this Superman #1. There are multiple prices for these things based on which cover you get. If you just get the standard cover, you're paying $4.99 US. So I'll give you the standard prices. Just know that if you want like a fancy cardstock cover, or there's a foil variant for this. Oh my gosh, is it the 90s again? It's a Phantom Zone foil variant. That one's $8.99. Whew, gotta pay extra money to go with a Phantom Zone. It's the dawn of DC. Superman has returned to Metropolis, and his greatest enemy, Lex Luthor, Lex Luthor, people get mad when I don't say it like that, is finally behind bars. The future of the Superman family has never been brighter. As Clark Kent settles back into his life, iconic and new enemies erupt from the shadows to strike down the Man of Steel. But waiting in the wings back at Big Blue is Supercorp? What secret project has Lex given to Superman? A hero is only as good as their villains will be put to the test in this brand new oversized #1 featuring DC's greatest superhero by DC Comics architect Joshua Williamson and award-winning superstar artist Jamal Campbell. I'm sorry, it felt like I had to hype it up at the end there. Like they were really ramping it up. Whoever wrote that really tried. Good for them. There are 15 variant covers, my word. But if we stop to talk about every single variant cover, this will never end. All right, Action Comics 1052. If you remember in the last video, they promised that the dawn of DC started with 1051s. Now we're at 1052. By Philip Candy Johnson, Dan Jurgens, and Leah Williams. Because there's multiple stories in Action Comics now, we've gone back to that main story and then backups thing. So we have art by Rafa Sandoval, Lee Weeks, and Marguerite Sauvage. We got variants, not as many. $4.99, 48 pages, so it's bigger than the last one, which was oversized, but at 32 pages. Metallo attacks. The crown jewel of Superman's new metropolis is in ruins, and the increasingly violent Blue Earth movement is keeping the entire super family on their toes. Meanwhile, Metallo's powerful new body is evolving in unforeseen, horrific ways. As Metallo's life and sanity continue to unravel, he sets out to capture the only person who can help him, John Henry Irons. It's Steel versus Metallo, as the new era of Action Comics continues. I like Steel. I like Metallo. That actually sounds like it could be a lot of fun. They're all so happy on this cover. My goodness, some of those smiles are getting into scary, uncanny valley territory though. I'm frightened. Why is this one cover? Okay, just highlighting this one cover, look at all the scruff that Connor grew. He's having a rough time. Lazarus Planet, Next Evolution, #1. Written by Ram V, Brandon T. Snyder, Chuck Brown, Delia S. Dawson. Art by Lalit Kumar, Laura Braga, Aletha Martinez, and Mark Morales, and Rose Stein. $4.99. 48 pages, multiple stories. Heroes will be forged. We're gonna pour them out and smash them. Good and bad, yin and yang, all sides of humanity will be transformed by the Lazarus event, and in the DC Universe, one thing's for sure, heroes will always rise. In this special, we'll explore some of the amazing new powers gifted to the freedom fighters of the future, and we'll see what perils these villain vanquishing virtuosos, wow, I pay that person extra, that's an alliteration, will face. What secret does Flatline seek from the heart of Talia al Ghul's HQ? Heyo! Flatline's gonna matter again. That means I'm gonna do another Flatline video. Let's see if this one gets age restricted. Can Red Canary bring order to an out-of-control city? What secret does the heroic Deadeye hold that will haunt him forever? And enter into a brand new legend with the fantastic debut of Virgil, which I cannot hear without thinking about the Thunderbirds. Lazarus Planet, Dark Fate #1. Written by Tim Seeley, Joshua Williamson, Dennis Culver, A.L. Kaplan, and Alyssa Wong. Art by Valdemar Rivas, Chris Burnham, A.L. Kaplan, and Hayning. New threats will rise. I thought new threats would just rise. Wasn't that? Oh, heroes will be forged, sorry. Heroes are forging and new threats will also rise. When the Lazarus storm touches down, people from every walk of life stand to be affected. People who are kind, people who are good, and people who are evil. This epic issue will spotlight the many disastrous new villains created by the Lazarus event and the heroes who stand ready to stop them from doing harm to others. What sinister threat brings a new chapter to the Doom Patrol saga? Can a new hero channel the inexorable Still Force energy to fend off evil? What lurks in the corners of the spirit world for a new character Xanth? And what early clue to the new direction in Arkham Tower will spell disaster for Gotham City? What doesn't spell disaster for Gotham City? That's the true shocking event. Everything's fine in Gotham City. It's just pages of people living their lives. Lazarus Planet Omega. So I hope you're not planning to buy all of these Lazarus events because you are going to be poor after it. Written by Mark Waid, Jean Lun Yang, and art by Ricardo Federici, Billy Tan, and more and more. $5.99. What? The last one was $4.99 by the way. Fate and Fury. The devil Neza and his son are at war with all of humanity caught in the middle. The Lazarus storms are intensifying worldwide. Earth superheroes are on the ropes and Batman is living on borrowed time. It's up to Zatanna, the Spectre, the Demon, Clarion, and the rest of the DCU's magic users to join Damian Wayne because he's doing magic things right now and set things right. But to do that, they'll have to uncover Neza's final explosive secret. Plus, Dreamer has rescued Dr. Fate's helmet from destruction. But why does it keep glowing like that? The dawn of the DCU begins as the Lazarus Planet saga crashes to a close. You hear that? It means you're nearly free for the next event, Batman vs. Robin #5, written by Mark Waid, art and cover by Mahmoud Asrar. Will father and son reconcile or rumble? Those two R's, not as good. They were trying, but it didn't quite land as well as it could have. The Lazarus volcano has left its impact on planet Earth, but the fallout from Bruce and Damian Wayne's war is far from over. It's been a long road from the initial tensions that drove a wedge between father and son in the pages of Teen Titans, but is the hatchet at last ready to be buried? A bold new chapter in the lives of Batman and Robin begins in this epic final issue. I like how they say that like they were on really good terms before this happened. Batman 132, Chip Zdarsky, art by Mike Hawthorne, and Adriano Di Benedetto, $4.99 for 40 pages, ooh la la. The mean streets of Gotham City have gotten meaner as the likes of Harvey Dent and Killer Croc roam free, brutalizing the population. Where is Batman, and why hasn't he responded to the cries of a city in peril? Can Bruce Wayne find the answers before the mysterious Red Mask captures him? And in the backup story, Tim Drake's hunt for Batman continues. Some of these backups and the way they've been paired together is interesting, particularly when the person has an ongoing and then they don't entirely mesh together. Tim. Will Metropolis's newest Superman, John Kent, be able to help the boy Wonder with this multiversal mystery, or will they both run afoul of an overpowered Toyman? Why would you say that Toyman is overpowered in the solicit? They're like, yeah, he's OP. Don't do that. I like how this Catwoman cover that they have here has pretty much nothing to do with anything except reminding you that she has nice boobs. Batman the Joker, Deadly Duo #4, written by Mark Silvestri, art and cover by Mark Silvestri, $4.99. This is the Mark Silvestri kind of throwback comic where it's Batman and the Joker teaming up, and it's been treated in some circles like it's a very new idea, but it's actually been done before a couple of times, not only in DC itself, but it is actually one of the most common fanfic tropes. Some of the earliest ones that you will find collected on the archives when archives became a thing in the early to mid 2000s are stories about them teaming up. So depending on how involved you are in just having caught up on all either your official canon history or in transformative fandom, this is not going to feel new at all. But it is drawn by Mark Silvestri, so it has that going for it, if you like his art style. Training Day, oh no. Batman the Joker's ability to function as a team is put to the biggest test yet as they are dropped out of the sky and into a moving train. Oh, it's that kind of pun. That pun is bad. Will their alliance hold together even if the speeding locomotive does not? Meanwhile, the Dark Knight has enlisted the help of Nightwing and Catwoman to help with his investigation, but with more pieces of Gordon being shipped to GCPD headquarters, by the time they find any clues, will there even be enough of the Commissioner left to save? It depends. How big are the pieces? The Riddler, Year 1, #3, written by Paul Dano. Yes, Paul Dano, who played him in the movies, writing a comic. Art by Steven Subik. Edward reaches out to the daughter of a mob victim who might have insight into their operation. Meanwhile, his boss at the accounting firm believes there's a reason to be suspicious about Wayne Industries' payments to Bruce Wayne. And in his most daring move yet, Edward goes undercover at a company responsible for locking away highly sensitive documents. What he finds may lead to his most shocking revelation yet. Then they just talk up about the fact that he played him in the movie. I remember. No! Batman, One Bad Day, Clayface #1, aka the one that I was waiting for, even though I haven't finished the Clay list yet. I will, I swear, it's happening. It's real. Written by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing. Art and cover by Zermanico. All Basil Carlo ever wanted was to be an actor. No one of the greatest actors there's ever been. However, his life went off course when he became the shape-shifting monster known as Clayface. So we're doing the modern fusion of Basil Carlo where he actually is a Clayface, not where he was just an actor murdering people like in the Golden Age. After years of doing battle with Batman in Gotham City and distancing himself from his dream, Clayface goes out west to Los Angeles. Oh, why would you, Clay? Creating a new identity, he pursues his dream of acting, only to find that Gotham City isn't the only place with an overwhelming sense of dread to it, and that he might not have what it takes to make it in the City of Angels. So he'll reshape the city to fit his needs in a deadly pursuit of stardom. One Bad Day? It feels like everybody got this homework assignment, and then some people tried to get really clever with it, like, aha! So they had one bad day. But what if the one bad day was somebody else's bad day? Or what if the one bad day was spread out? What if the one bad day didn't have anything to do with the rest of the story? Nightwing 101, written by Tom Taylor and art by Travis Moore. $4.99. I'm not being consistent with pricing these things. Just know they're in between $4.99 and $5.99 most of the time. After the events of Dark Crisis, Superman has a talk with Nightwing. The talk. Letting him know that now is Dick's time to lead. So Nightwing gathers a group of friends to be the Premier League in the DC Universe and moves their base of operations to Bloodhaven. Meet the new Titans. So Superman had the same talk with him that he had years ago and gave him the same advice, and Nightwing decided the same thing. Cool. Then, following the events of the Nightwing 2022 annual and the Superman Nightwing crossover, Nightwing continues to mentor John Kent in ways that Dick learned from being trained by Batman, but in his own more encouraging way. See, because when they aged John up, they kind of lost that relationship they had going on with Damian, and so they've been trying really hard to kind of hammer it in with Nightwing. So there's this very big emphasis on trying to create all these moments between John and Nightwing in hopes that if you were a newer reader, you'll just be like, ah yes, they have a great connection. Forget about the Super Sons. Don't think about it. John and Nightwing, not John and Damian. This one cover that they have here is a nice pinup, but not a great cover, unless you really like Nightwing in casual wear. Poison Ivy #9, yes, it's an ongoing and it's still going. Written by G. Willow Wilson, art by Mariko Takara. That's right, ya girl Harley Quinn, oh no. Doctor, fashionista, heroic criminal, criminally insane clown, and Poison Ivy's girlfriend. You see, I'm always concerned when Harley shows up because they've been working so hard to build Poison Ivy back up, and sometimes people can slip into her just being Harley Quinn's girlfriend. It's happened to her for years. We'll see how it's going. At this point where we are now, we're just in them getting kind of back together. The whole Poison Ivy comic so far has been reconciling her still being pretty villainous, but also wanting to do things to help the Earth that will align her with some of the heroes, it ended up putting her in the exact same position she's been in multiple times before, but treating it like it was new. So it was, she's gonna go after people in power who are rich and the like, which she's done before, and she's gonna protect some people of the Earth, like children, which she's done before. But all of this was treated like a new revelation, so that's where we're at with that. This series does have heart though. Wilson clearly has a deep love for Ivy. So it was a clear stance to we're gonna keep her more villainous, but here are the new rules and definitions of how she's working. But also her and Harley together, because if you were to break them up, people would riot. Also, people are pretty intense about Poison Ivy in general. I remember making a comment once that I preferred her as a villain, and I got called a selfish People are really serious about Poison Ivy. Detective Comics 1069, written by Rom V, with art by Ivan Race. Batman investigates the frozen Asmere that Mr. Freeze gave him, so I hope you were reading, because otherwise you're like, what? And makes a huge discovery about the ancient demons. Meanwhile, Asmere begins to pour into Gotham streets, controlling helpless people and those poor souls the city cares not for, all to do the Orgum's bidding. Then in the backup story, what kind of deal have the Orgums stuck with Mr. Freeze, and is he also controlled by the Asmere? So the backup story is just part of the main story? What are we doing? What are we doing? $4.99. Static, Shadows of Dakota, #1. Written by Nicholas Draper Ivy and Vita Ayala. Art and cover by Nicholas Draper Ivy. 32 pages, $3.99 for Static. Static is back. Though Virgil and his friends might have been able to stop the government's off-the-books prison operations in Dakota, a powerful new threat lurks in the shadows. The mysterious Ebon, is cutting a bloody swath through the underworld on a single-minded quest to find his brother. Against this backdrop of exploding violence, innocent people are finding themselves in the crossfire. Static got a new origin since he came back, and I don't know, maybe I'm just nostalgically attached to the first one, but I did not enjoy it as much as the first one. Milestone 30th Anniversary Special, #1. I'm just gonna put the names on the screen because my word, we've been here a while already. This one's $10.99 because it's an anniversary issue, so you get all of the extra stories, all the different people, 96 pages, $10 is still a lot. Celebrate 30 years of Static, Icon, Rocket, Hardware, and the rest of the Dakotaverse in the star-studded anthology. From a Static and Batman Beyond team-up, oh, that's very nostalgic, isn't it? Harkening back to their adventures in the Static Shock animated series, a grown-up Raquel Irvin inheriting the mantle of Icon, and a reality-warping story where the present-day Milestone characters meet their 1993 counterparts. And you can do that, because in some cases they are so starkly different. Oh look, they did the Flash of Two Worlds homage cover. Nice. Always a classic. Icon vs. Hardware #1, written by Reginald Hudlin and Leon Chills. Art, we don't know yet. We'll figure it out. $4.99. Two titans of the Milestone Universe clashed, and in the process set in motion a chain of events leading to a story bigger than you could ever imagine. So big we couldn't even describe it. When Hardware discovers a long-suppressed time machine hidden in a government warehouse, his obsession with righting the wrongs of the past, those of both American history and his own tragic family, will unravel the fabric of time for the Milestone Universe. Yeah, because didn't he learn from the Flash? Does nobody know? If you subscribe in any way to the butterfly theory, just doing anything, just breathing in the past could destroy everything. Like, no, I'm gonna go change specific things and come back and it's gonna be fine. People won't have ant heads, it's gonna be great. But while there are many problems with Hardware's plan, there's one big thing. Wherever he goes in America's last 2 centuries, Icon is there, having lived through it. And a man as powerful as Icon knows the profound danger of the forces Curtis Metcalf is unleashing, and he'll do whatever it takes to put the genie back in the bottle. Icon vs. Hardware is the official kickoff of Act 1 of Milestone's Worlds Collide event, and if you think you know what that phrase means, you better not get overconfident. Challenge accepted. I'm pretty sure that I know what that phrase means. Why is the solicit coming at you like that? Like, oh, you want to fight? I'll see you after school. This is the ideal jumping on point for those who've sat out the story of Dakota so far, because the ride is heading somewhere unexpected. This is an aggressive solicit. This solicit is like, you will read this, you will like it, and you will be surprised. Rawr. Shazam! Fury of the Gods special. Shazamly Matters, #1. Oh gosh. Written by the actors. Okay, cause that's just a thing that they let people do. Cause remember, if you've acted, it means you automatically have transferable skills and can write a comic in an entirely different medium. Maybe you can, but nobody should assume that because they're entirely different things. Also, the idea that you have a firm grasp on the character just because you've played them, again, it really varies and it depends based on the version that's happening. There's so much. Buy it, because Zachary Levi wrote one of the stories. For $10.99 and 96 pages, it can be yours. Art by all of these people. This 96-page giant feature story starring all of your favorite Shazam characters as written by the actors who play them. They battle zombies, befriend dinosaurs, try to get a phone signal world barbarians, explore Glitterland, and more just in time for the release of the brand new feature film. At least they're trying to tie into the film. Who knows? It could be amazing, but at the same time, you know this is just a gimmick. This is gimmicky as heck. Ooh, speaking of, DC/Ruby #1, written by Marguerite Bennett, art and cover by Megan Hetrick. $3.99. How big is Ruby still? I remember when Ruby was huge. I feel like the fandom's really calmed down or dwindled or just kind of settled into the amount that's gonna be. The world of Remnant comes crashing into the DCU. Grimm are running amok around Gotham, and Batman's on the hunt to find whoever brought these mysterious monsters to his city. But as the trail goes cold, the Dark Knight finds himself face to face with none other than Team Ruby. What other effects are taking hold around the world with Ruby Weiss, Blake, and Yang here? And what does it mean for the future of the DCU? Nothing, because these crossovers just stay in their own little corner. Swamp Thing, Green Hell #2 by Jeff Lemire. Art and cover by Doug Mankey. $6.99 for 48 pages, because this is a Prestige Plus book. You can hold it under your arm and put your monocle on, your top hat. Prestige. They used to call these Black Label, and I don't know if they still count as that or what is going on with that. It's been a lot. Alec Holland has been summoned back to the land of the living by the decrepit John Constantine himself, which is quite the surprise to the Parliament of Trees. In exchange for a peaceful eternity within the Green, Alec wants to stay out of their affairs. With lives at risk, Alec refuses, but his conviction comes at a cost. If Alec dies in the stolen body defending the last vestiges of humanity, he's gone for good. For some reason, they put a couple of collections smack dab in the middle of this when they normally put all the trades at the end. Me from the future. I now see it's chronological, but I still made the choice to focus more on the new solo titles because it just kind of threw off the groove not to. But okay, back to it. They're re-releasing Batman/Spawn because they're gonna do another one. So they're gonna re-release the classic one. Yes, Batman and Spawn have crossed over a couple of times. And DC vs. Vampires Volume 2. So February 2023 is my time if I want to finish off with DC vs. Vampires, because the main story is gonna be all collected in trade at that point. Flashpoint 2023 edition, because over 10 years after the new 52, that's what you need, Flashpoint. They're doing a facsimile edition of Wiz Comics #2. Those are fun. I like the facsimiles. I wish they included absolutely everything. They don't always. Sometimes there are things missing. That's right, I want every old ad in these. The Batman Who Laughs, the deluxe edition. But it's only 280 pages and it's $40, but it's deluxe. So if you weren't one of the people who was burnt out by how much Batman Their Laughs there was, this is for you. And then after that, they just go back to the regular solicits. I don't know why they broke it up like that, but they did. Batgirls #15, written by Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad. Art by Neil Gouge. There's nothing like some father-daughter bonding. Unless you're Stephanie Brown and you thought your father was dead until he kidnapped you. At least your BFF Cassandra Cain is determined to find you. It's a deadly adventure for Cass, but nothing can stop her from risking it all to save Steph unless it's death itself. The tenses in that solicit were all over the place. We got Batman Incorporated #5, written by Ed Brisson. Brisson? I'm Canadian. Everything that could be French ends up being pronounced in a French way. Art and cover by John Timms. The explosive conclusion to No More Teachers. Batman Inc.'s allegiances are split as Ghostmaker and his former sidekick Phantom One. I see Ghostmaker's been hanging out in the Silver Age. Duel to the death. It's winner take all. Will the fate of Batman Incorporated rest in the hands of Clown Hunter? Remember when they were really trying with Clown Hunter so hard and then it just did not really happen? James Tynion threw so many characters out there during his run and he was like, please, please. And Punchline seems to be sticking for now. So it's like, yes, one of about 18. Batman/Superman World's Finest #12 by Mark Waid, art by Emma Lupacciano. The secret behind the Supergirl-Robin feud is revealed. On a day not too long ago, a meeting between the Boy Wonder and the Girl of Steel began sweetly, became awkward, and ended so catastrophically, horrifically, jaw-droppingly, car-crashingly, disastrously, that among the Superman and Batman families, it is now enshrined as the world's finest example of how not to team up. That solicit came. It tried hard to amuse. It did not amuse me, but maybe it amused you. Batman Beyond, The White Knight #8, written by Sean Murphy, art and cover by Sean Murphy and Dave Stewart. It all ends here. So if you weren't reading, this is where it ends. With the future of Gotham City at stake, Bruce Wayne leads an attack on the Wayne Powers building to take down Blight and his minions once and for all. And with the new Batman, the Robins, and GCPD's Barbara Gordon at his side, anything seems possible. But not all endings will be happy. Of course not. It's Bruce in a kind of offshoot Batman Beyond universe. If you were looking for a Batman Beyond book and not a Batman book, that's not really for you. Like, Batman Beyond is in it, but it's much more still a continuation of Bruce in the White Knight universe. Universe. Batman Gotham Knights Gilded City number 5, written by Evan Narcisse, art by Abel. Infected with the golden iris virus, Red Hood's innermost desires have bubbled to the surface, and he's overcome by one thing. Can you guess what it is? It's not to have a nice cheeseburger. It's the desire for revenge against Batman. Elsewhere in the Gotham of the 1800s, the runaway and vandal savage continue their investigation into the mysterious illness overtaking the city. Join us for this penultimate chapter in the prequel to the action-packed game Gotham Knights. Oh, it's a Gotham Knights tie-in. Have you been playing that game? I've heard really mixed things about it, except for Batgirl's cape. There's a whole section dedicated to don't get a long cape. It hides the cake. So if you were enjoying the cake and you don't want to hide it, the long cape, that's your enemy. Batman, The Adventure Continues, Season 3, Number 2. So this is the continuation of the DCAU. The vibe is very different, just heads up. Written by Alan Burnett and Paul Dini. Art and cover by Kevin Altieri. Bruce Wayne and Harley Quinn don't have much in common, except in the comics where people decide they do. Except for Cassie Kendall. Beautiful and whip smart, she nearly changed the course of Bruce's life when she was his high school sweetheart, and shortly thereafter became Harley's college fling. Now after a long time away from Gotham, Cassie has returned, immediately has her sights set on Bruce. But when Harley learns of Cassie's return, she is all too happy and manic and unpredictable to reconnect with her old college girlfriend. As Bruce's and Harley's paths cross, it becomes clear that all is not what it seems with Cassie Kendall. I want it to be that she never existed. Let's just pull like she's not even a real person. Let's just get real weird with it. Batman, The Audio Adventures number 6, but in comic book form. Written by Dennis McNicholas. Art by Anthony Marquez and Jay Bode. As Haley's Circus reopens, Gotham City is in chaos. Batman's investigations reveal that monster serum has been leaking all throughout the city, and the trail leads back to none other than Killer Croc. Meanwhile, Robin finds himself face to face with Scarecrow. Audio adventures and podcasts can be so fun. Just a throwback to those old radio shows. They can just be so immersive. That's so unique. It's not the same. This would be a great thing to translate to Webtoon actually, because they can add sounds to that, and people do, and it can be really effective. Black Adam number 8, written by Christopher Priest, art by Eddie Barrows and Aber Ferreira. Rise. A new chapter begins in the 24th century BC with Teth Adam, Egypt's original cheerful and noble champion of Shazam, facing his greatest challenge in the person of his former enslaver, now sorcerously enhanced to become Ibak the Invincible. I don't know why I'm struggling so much reading this. Mighty Adam's heroic defense of Egypt is compromised by the dark secret he harbors. Meanwhile, in the present day, Black Adam saves a crippled jetliner from crashing into the Middle East's most controversial city, sparking unrest at home in Kandak. Blue Beetle Graduation Day number 4. This was one of those ones that was on the first round robin and ended up being released anyway. And it's probably because they're going to do a Blue Beetle thing. There was a lot of salt about those round robins, and so some of the things ended up being released, or are going to be allegedly, and that added counter salt for the people who voted. It just ended up being a very salty experience. Written by Josh Trujillo, art and cover by Adrian Gutierrez, whose art I am fond of. If you've been following this channel, you probably saw him in some of the Interpop videos. It's just a very kind of fluid, cartoony, it just goes with it, but for some they might find it too hyper stylized. Paco and Brenda are visiting Palermo City, but they aren't alone. Jaime's new foe, Fadeaway, which makes me think that he's got cool hair, comes seeking the Blue Beetle's help. It's time for a good old-fashioned heist. Their target, Cord Industries. Catwoman number 52, written by Tinny Howard with art by Sammy Barcy. Looks like Cat is the new Black in Gotham jail. Oh dear. No more Orange is the New Black puns. It's been years. As Selena quickly finds herself clawing her way up as the Queen Cat behind bars by making friends with all the wrong types, which are of course also exactly her types. Meanwhile, Aiko Hasegawa continues to prowl the Gotham streets as the Catwoman keeping the mob bosses in check, with a little help from Tomcat. I'm curious to see how that aligns with what's going on in Punchline's book, because some stuff happened there this week with that. Hopefully it makes sense. Danger Street number 3, written by Tom King, art by Jorge Fornes. The repercussions of Atlas the Great's death play out worlds away as two old enemies become allies in the fight to save the multiverse. We just did a multiverse thing, but I guess this is an Elseworld, so we can do a multiverse thing over there. Meanwhile, Lady Cop continues her search for good looks killer, the disgraced hero Starman. Little does she know the fugitive is on his way to the City of Angels. Oh, he can run into Clayface to make a deal with the devil. Will his sacrifice be enough to set things right? Oh, an actual deal with the devil. Don't do it. He doesn't play fair. He just wants marriages. DC Horror presents Sergeant Rock versus the Army of the Dead number 6, written by Bruce Campbell. Yes, the actor. It's another one of those, he's writing them. People say this one is really fun. I have not been reading it, so maybe I will once it's done. Art by Eduardo Riso. 30 pages, $3.99. Stand at attention, cadets. Easy Company's blasted their way through the undead all across Berlin. But don't get cocky now, soldier, because your platoons just come face to face with something far more horrifying than zombies. Sergeant Rock has fallen in battle. Could it be that Easy Company will be sending their fearless leader home in a flag-draped coffin? Check out this fear-soaked finale to find out. Alright, so that's the end. They've come to the end. To see Beast, War of the Undead Gods #7, written by Tom Taylor, pencils by Trevor Hart. Wow, we've got multiple people here? Okay, I'm just gonna put them on the screen then. Some of the most powerful entities in existence are slaves to the anti-life. Undead Darkseid's forces have spread the virus across whole galaxies. Even Kryptonians and the Flashes may be too slow in the race to cure worlds before everything is overwhelmed. The final stand for the universe begins. Did you know Deceased was still going on? Because it is. GCPD, The Blue Wall #5, aka the comic about Renee Montoya being the commissioner. Written by John Ridley, art by Stefano Raffaele. 32 pages, $3.99. Life has a way of slipping through our fingers when we least expect it to. I mean, it's just always kind of doing that in general. It's happened to GCPD Commissioner Renee Montoya before, and despite everything she's fought for, it's happening again. A domino has been tipped, and Renee is about to go through her most harrowing test yet. It cannot be as harrowing as how much this page that I'm reading from does not want to load. Gotham City, Year 1, #5. Written by Tom King, art and cover by Phil Hester and Eric Gapster. Beaten, bruised, and betrayed, Slam Bradley, there's a name you haven't heard in a while, should have never gotten involved with the Waynes. With a tragic turn of events in a city on the edge of burning, can this hard-boiled private detective close an impossible case? Remember when he was the father of Catwoman's baby? I remember. Harley Quinn #27, written by Stephanie Phillips, art by Matteo Lolli. 32 pages, $3.99. This is it, folks. We have to drop the multiversal counterbalance serum at the center of the photon disruption before the imminent collapse of the entire multiverse. Just kidding. But could you imagine if that was how the story ended? No thanks. We're gonna save the world the old-fashioned way with a large undead zombie, 50 to 80 Harleys from other universes, Kevin, and Poison Ivy. I don't know. That first one sounded pretty okay. Harley's doing a whole universe of Harleys fighting each other thing. That's happening. Harley Quinn, the animated series, Legion of Bats, written by T. Franklin, art by Shea Beagle. If you enjoyed the raunchy parts of the TV series, then that's what this comic series is, just dialed up to 100. The Bat family, Black Mask, and Lady Marabunta finally face off, while Ivy, Knockout Bell, Livewire, and Nightfall break Porcelain out of Blackgate Penitentiary. Meanwhile, Harley visits an incarcerated Bruce Wayne for an unscheduled therapy and venting session. How much longer will Harley and Ivy keep their secrets from each other before it's too late? I Am Batman, #18, written by John Ridley. Art and cover by Christian Duce. 32 $3.99. Jace Fox is on the most urgent mission of his tenure as Batman to save the life of his mother. At war with the domestic terror group called the Moral Authority, Jace fights a relentless battle alongside his sister Tiffany and a new hero who bridges DC's past, present, and future as I Am Batman comes to a spectacular and emotional close. Who is reading I Am Batman? I need to know. Just Society of America #4, written by Jeff Johns, art and cover by Mikel Janin. Helena's journey through time continues. Each new time period gives her one more piece of the puzzle, but is Degaton too far ahead in his quest to eradicate the JSA to be stopped? Is this truly the end of the Justice Society? There's a lot of trying to rewrite timeline stuff going on here, so we'll see how that all pans out. Also, it's issue 4 of 12, so clearly it is not the end of Monkey Prince #11, written by Jin Yun Yang, art and cover by Bernard Chang. Lazarus Planet tie-in. I was unprepared, so a few of these were tie-ins so far. Monkey Prince, now at the Hall of Justice with Supergirl, must defend it against the Ultra Humanite, but it looks like Ultra Humanite needs to get through, not only to acquire secret information about the Monkey King that could defeat Neza, but also for information about how Marcus is related to the Monkey King. Will Monkey Prince give in to learn his truth, but put all the other heroes at risk? I sure hope not. Punchline, the Gotham game #5, written by Tinny and Blake Howard, art and cover by Gleb Melnikov. The battle for Port Royal, as Bluebird and Nightwing desperately search for brother Cullen, Punchline's expansion of the Royal Flush Gang takes a terrifying technological turn. The nanotech experiment she's been conducting with 1-0 will allow her to create an army of ace robots, and nothing beats a handful of aces. Nightwing and Bluebird are in for a world of hurt. It's nice to see that Bluebird's going to be tied into this again, because Bluebird had unfinished business with Punchline. Scooby-Doo, where are you? #120. We just skipped a lot of letters. Written by Derek Friedolfs. Art by Valerio Chiola. When Velma inherits a vase from a deceased relative, Mystery Inc. knows just the place to get it appraised. A televised auction house. But after they arrive, an old lamp... Okay, so you know Scooby-Doo. You know how it works. If you like Scooby-Doo, these comics are cute. Stargirl, The Lost Children #4, written by Jeff Johns, art and cover by Todd Nack. Courtney and the missing sidekicks are on a mission to bust out their friends from the Childminder's stronghold, but a plan is hard to come by. Have no fear, Hypertime's greatest protector is here to lend a hand. Oh my gosh, Hypertime. 0 hour strikes again. Corky Baxter, Time Master. Meanwhile, Emiko learns the secret history of Judy Garrick, the lost daughter of Jay and Joan Garrick. We'll see how that plays out. I've seen some salt about that because one of the things about Jay and Joan was that they couldn't have kids, and that's why they were such guardians to the rest of the team. It was something that they learned to reconcile and come to terms with, so we'll see how that ends up going. Superman Space Age #3, written by Mark Russell, art and cover by Michael Allred. The end is nigh. As red skies reign, Superman does what he can to make the world a better place for as long as it continues to exist, but money is power, and the greed-driven decade of the 80s and villains like Lex Luthor seem poised to win in the end. That's Just all the clips of like American Psycho in my head. Little do they know there are bigger things to worry about, and the hero they've grown to hate is their only hope against this crisis. Don't miss the thrilling finale of this soon-to-be That's bold. That's aggressive. It's gonna be a classic. Okay, call me in 10 years, we'll see. The Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries #5, written by Sholly Fish. This one's $2.99. Oh, that's nice and affordable for the kids. Not for the kids, for the parents buying it for the kids. These are all really cute. They're just adventures between Batman and his family and the Scooby-Doo gang. It's exactly what it sounds like. Pro tennis player Betty Kane asks Batman for help, and Mystery Inc. is coming to Gotham to join the search for a priceless collection. Just fun stuff. The Flash, #792, written by Jeremy Adams. Pencils and inks by Roger Cruz and Wellington Diaz. This is part of the 1 Minute War. The Flash family is in dire straits as the Fraction begins their takeover. Looking for a way to push them back, Impulse has an idea, the kind of idea that usually gets people in trouble. It's up to Kid Flash to keep him company on a daring mission that could help turn the tide against the extraterrestrial threat. So this is supposed to be an event that's happening in a minute, but because they're flashes, a lot is happening in that minute. Depending on how it's executed, it could be really fun. They also solicit the next one in here as well, so it seems like you're gonna get 2 this month. The Human Target #12, aka it's over. Then we can just read it all in a chunk. I read this month's and the whole thing was Guy Gardner is actually alive, and I just flashed back to the ice chunks of him on the floor and I was like, alright, I'll play along. Written by Tom King, art by Greg Smallwood. Christopher Chance has spent the last 12 days, 12 months for us, actually longer because there was a hiatus, trying to solve his own murder. With the list of suspects comprising the Justice League International, did a hero really attempt to kill Lex Luthor? Could the Human Target have miscalculated? Is it too late to save his life? Have you seen all the noir films that inspired this comic? Let me know down below. We've got the Joker, the man who stopped laughing, written by Matthew Rosenberg. Art and cover by Carmine Giandomenico. 40 pages, $5.99. Oh, so the backup's still there. Knock knock, who's there? That's what the Joker is trying to find out as he closes in on the man he thinks is pretending to be him. Jason Todd is right on his heels, and Jason has got a great joke about a little kid and a crowbar. Maybe you've heard it before. It kills. Did Matthew Rosenberg write that solicit? That feels like something that would happen inside of this book. So you have the really dark first story and then the completely atonal, humorous second story that some feel is an homage to the 70s series. If it is, I don't think it lands. I have a video coming on that at some point, so yay, we're gonna spotlight classic 70s Joker #4. I am actually really excited to talk about that. But it's a big juxtaposition to have both sitting next to each other. So we have the Sandman universe, Dead Boy Detective #3 by Pornsak Pachetsati and Jeff Stokely. Edwin witnesses a mysterious Kumanthong ghost tear through Charles like he's flesh and blood, and the boys just barely manage to escape with both their ghostly lives intact. Tensions run high as the ghost kids fight among themselves about how to crack the case before Charles is gone for good, and Snake Ghost Melvin strikes out on his own to give one of their suspects a proper haunting. Ghosts. Tim Drake Robin #6, written by Megan Fitzmartin, art and cover by Ricardo Lopez Ortiz. Robin eats Bernard's face. The final showdown. Tim Drake comes face to voice with the villain who's been taunting Tim by using his meta-human powers to create ghostly animals. When this Moriarty's identity is revealed, all hell breaks loose in the marina. Can Tim keep things afloat? Cause it's in a marina while simultaneously dealing with his relationship with Bernard? Okay, so this comic, I'm comparing it a little bit to the first 6 issues, actually the second one, because I recently read Robin 2, Joker's Wild, and that was just such an amazing intro as a Robin series. The Robin solos in the 90s were really, really, really strong, and they just came out the gate swinging with who Tim was and the adventures. They're so hardcore, and I can't help but compare them when I read this series. And so to me, this one just doesn't pack the same punch, and it doesn't give that same oomph to Tim that he had in those original ones. They don't quite get there. If someone were to tell me that they like Tim, I would probably recommend the first ones over these ones. And it has nothing to do with Bernard or that relationship or anything, but it's just the mystery and adventure component of the 90s run, which is so much stronger. And there's an amazing moment in Joker's Wild where he encounters the Joker for the first time after the Joker's killed Jason, and they have this kind of face-off, and it's so dark and so cool. Titans United, Blood Pack #6, written by Cavan Scott, art by Lucas Mayer. All is lost. Raven rules supreme, and one of the Titans has become a killer. Hunted and alone, the heroes turned fugitives must face Brother Blood and the Dark Daughter for the final time. Wildcats #4, written by Matthew Rosenberg, art and cover by Steven Segovia. While the 7 soldiers are taking all the credit, the Wildcats are taking a beating. With one team capturing the hearts and minds of the public, the other is at risk of being captured and killed. Will Grifter's hunt for the Court of Owls cost him everything, and if he falls, who will fall with him? Remember when it looked like they were gonna deal with Nora a lot on the Wildcats, and then that just did not really happen? And the last of the new solicits for single comics, we have Wonder Woman number 796, written by Becky Cloonan, Michael W. Conrad, and Jordi Belair. Art by Iman K. Nahuatl and Paulina Ganucho. Hell hath no fury like a scorned lover, or a lover scorned. Eros is back and ready to take over Washington, D.C. in Hera's name. Will Wonder Girl's ex-boyfriend make things personal as he battles two of the most powerful women in the DC universe? Plus, the final chapter of the Adventures of Young Diana. Does that mean that it's done, or just that we're done that backup story? I also completely forgot that Wonder Girl and Eros were low-key kinda sorta thing for 2 seconds in her series. This cover is doing the most. My goodness. That was a lot, wasn't it? That was a marathon. So when I talk about keeping up with new comics, sometimes that's why I say it can feel overwhelming. Like, wasn't that a lot? Did you know that half of those things were happening? Did it make you want to read them, or was it just like, oh my gosh? And also just some of them didn't seem to fit together because, oh, that was a lot. My brain is askew and a whirl with all the things that just happened there. I was gonna read all of the trades as well. I was like, yeah, I'm here. I'm gonna be a hero. I can read all of these trades. But then my thing reloaded and took me back to the top of the page, and I was just like, no more. But I did scroll through it, and I did see that they are doing a Power Girl, like a little Power Girl minibus of the Power Girl run with Jimmy Palmiotti and the like, and I was like, okay, that's something that I am excited for. They're re-releasing Jeff Johns' JSA from back in the day, so if you don't have that, that's also a thing you can check out. They're doing one of those Legends of the Universe where they spotlight creators with Carmine Infantino. And then of course there's your standard trades that are coming out, things that are, you know, Oh, it's Naomi Season 2, all of those base things that come out as trades. Oh, also there's a Sandman Mystery Theater Compendium. So if you like huge tomes like I do, that's 984 pages and it's $60 because it's a compendium, so it's not hardcover, so then they just like slash the price in half. It's amazing. And that's everything. Oh my gosh, it's so much. That title that I put, not clickbait. We may never do this again. That was a lot. I've been filming for over an hour reading solicits. I don't even know what words are anymore. What is reality? I don't even know. I don't know how you manage to maintain any level of like hype or excitement, or if you just latch on to one or two things and just cling to them like these are the things, everything else go away, and just put a big shield around yourself or something. But I want to know, was this fun for you? Did you like hearing what was coming out? If we do make this a thing, it is not going to be a monthly thing. Oh my word. No, it is not. It'll be like every couple of months. Also, that'll be a bit more exciting because then there'll be new stuff coming out at that point. Are you reading any of these things right now? If you weren't, did this make you want to run out and pick anything up? Does it make you excited for the era of Lazarus Planet and Dawn of DCU? Did you even make it this far? You need to tell me something to let me know that you made it this far if you did, because this was so long. Hold on. Something to prove that you were here. Who's this? Who did I hold up at the end? Let me know if you made it. I didn't put him back on the shelf also. Yeah, I know. He's been sitting beside me while I've been filming, giving his thoughts and opinions on these solicits. So yeah, tell me things. That was so much. I need to go and eat some food. And I will be back with a regular comic video shortly. Thanks so much for taking a lot of time out of your day to discuss comic solicits with me. I always appreciate it. Even though it's the first time, I do appreciate it. I will see you again soon. Like, share, comment, subscribe, YouTube things. Bye-bye.